Well, me and Sean have known each other for maybe 20 years.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
From high school or what?
Well, I was in the same school year as Miles' brother, Ashley. And we were, do you know what I mean, pretty close at school and stuff, kind of hanged around together. And Miles has been DJing a lot of years. We come from quite a small town, you know, maybe 40 minutes out of Manchester. So, you know, if anybody's kind of doing anything interesting in that town, you find out about it. And Miles was DJing a bit, so he was always kind of like, all right, Ashley's older brother, Miles is the DJ. And just, you know what I mean, in school whereas it's always like the older brother, but once you leave school, that kind of the age difference kind of narrows down a bit.
But yeah, maybe for the last 15 years, because we're both really big record collectors, but we buy very different music. So it's only really in the last few years where we've started to kind of cross over with the music that we're both buying and we're both liking, and that's kind of Sean phoned me up maybe 2 years ago and said I think we should write a record together. You know, you wanted to do like a horror soundtrack, like a soundtrack for a horror movie. You know, there isn't a movie, it was just an idea for me and Sean to start writing some music together, and that's where Demdike came from. It's all about atmosphere and futurism, you know, and drama. Those are the kind of three things, aren't they?
Because we reference kind of horror stuff, but you know, just as much we're referencing kind of a record by Wolf Eyes or something, or Sun. Do you know what I mean?
Or an Iranian record, or a Turkish record. You know,
so it's
kind
just
of everything.
Kind of like, you know, we just kind of create this collage of all these different references, really. So it's not specifically a horror thing, you know. It's like next year we could do a record which it could be total homage to Indian music or modal jazz.
Cool. Because we like absolutely everything.
I suppose, you know, it was maybe a thing for that reason, because it's always gone closely with metal or something like that it's quite interesting to kind of throw a curveball into electronic music and kind of dress things up in a kind of a gothic way and stuff. But it's just but we don't even actually think too much into it, really, that side of things. It's just that we're into it, you know what I mean? You know, kind of into Ennio Morricone's music just as much as being into Juan Atkins's music. So it's, you know.
And can you tell me about the screenings, what we saw last night? So what kind of movies?
Well, a lot of those films of what, you know, is kind of genre called giallo. Giallo, I think, is yellow in Italian. And they kind of created these in I think in maybe the 50s or 60s they had, or maybe even earlier, there was they wrote these crime novels which was in yellow, and they were called giallos, and that's where they turned those books into movies. So, you know what I mean, that's where, you know, and I think there was heavily kind of influence from Alfred Hitchcock as well, so they've got the kind of weird kind of suspense. But and I think some of the other footage, there was kind of spaghetti western movies, obviously influence of Sergio Leone, or you know,
a lot of pornography.
Yeah. But
But that was the 70s.
Yeah.
And that's when a lot of the films come from, you know. And it's kind of, I think Demdike Stare, we've kind of evolved in the last 12 months to have, we're not just sampling records, we're also kind of sampling movies now as well. The idea is that when we play a live show, we improvise the footage with the music. You know, it's kind of like,
so you got like a palette of clips, movie clips and stuff, and you're just kind of reacting against each other.
Yeah.
Of whatever.
And this is an evolution of what we've done over the last 12 months. So each show it goes up a little more. You know. The set is all improvisation, but they're a kind of like, we have like a background theme, which we'll work with depending on the space. Like when we come to do a sound check, we'll look at where we're playing, and the show will be guided a lot of the time around the space. So like last night was it's a bit more of a club environment here, so we kind of put some more beats in and that kind of thing. Whereas last week we played in Sweden and we played in a church, which was like amazing sort of space, massive Gothic church. So there we did like no beats, and it was just, you know, drones and beatless, and it works really well for the space.